because, but there you go, it happened.
And you drew attention to it like any professional would.
There you go. Well, look, it's like a comedy kind of show.
Comedy, what do they call that? Comedy of errors. Okay.
I hope everyone is okay. I hope everyone has a nice holiday off, and I actually wanted to stay off more actually.
You'd have worked from home.
Yeah.
A bit more than you did.
But look, it is what it is.
Yeah. We know we've people online from all over the country, so I know the weather affected everybody differently last week. So, but I hope whatever way it was that you're all right. We're all back now. I haven't seen Ricky in a very long time.
The weather was awful, but it was lovely to see the snow. That's the only good thing about it. It was lovely to see the snow, to be honest. But the roads were like ice. They were like bloody class going along. So that wasn't good, to be honest.
Yeah, some people were without power and other people didn't have internet and things like that. So even being stuck at home had that extra.
We actually didn't have power. We had power up to I think it was the last week of the holidays, and then it went out. So we were the last people who actually have power in the country. So and then just went out off.
So what? 2 hours. Okay.
It was actually nice. Because like, I went over to the parents in the cinema because like they know no Xbox.
Yeah.
and so
no podcasts. No catch-up TV.
So I was forced to. I had two options. One to stay on my own. I don't want to go out to the parents. And I went out to the parents. We started talking about anything and everything. So no one with the fire.
Just like,
it's really nice.
Just like the good old days. Val says, hi Jason and Ricky, happy 2025. Indeed. We were off to an icy start, but it can only get better, can't it? Okay, well, so yeah, Ricky, what has been going on with you other than our mini ice lockdown since our last show?
I downloaded a new game on Xbox, which I was sorely disappointed in. The new Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Okay. So explain flight simulators for people who may not have come across them before.
A flight simulator is basically what is a simulator that you can fly planes with. Now, that's all you can do, but the new flight simulator is more a hybrid between a simulator and a game. You can in the simulator you can actually make a career for yourself and to become a pilot. So privately owned pilot or a commercial pilot, but you have to walk up to that by flying like privately owned planes and get more money to get your own plane and look really good. But of course, it didn't work for me. Why is because I have a joystick at home that I use on the previous flight sim. And on the previous flight sim, it worked, no problem. But on this flight sim, it doesn't. There's a lot of mapping issues, mapping buttons, especially when it comes to the external and internal view.
Yeah.
The button for that does not work. It's not useful. Even though you can help it, but it just doesn't work.
Yeah. I mean, this is, so not everybody who watches the show plays video games, but we all use technology, assistive or otherwise, to help us in our lives. And it is very annoying when an old piece of technology that worked very well doesn't there's some update or there's some change, like even changing ports, the type of port you have to use means that the device doesn't work anymore on newer programs or newer systems.
Now, to be honest, saying that, I was on YouTube, and this YouTube I watched now, this could be just saying him saying this, but he was on Xbox and he had the first time just on the Xbox playing the new Flight Simulator. So I put a comment and said, I'm really confused at the moment because I have the same joystick as you, on the same Xbox as you, and I have problems, and I listed out the problems, and he actually came out to a comment and said, well, it works fine with me now. So I re-downloaded it again, and I tried it out this time, and still don't work. So I just don't know. Like, I can't be an Xbox because we have the same Xbox, so we just the same updates on the same game and the same joystick. So I really don't know how.
Oh, that's and you know what? It's I have fun kind of chasing these things down because I use a lot of different programs to make music at home. And I have fun chasing this stuff down, and it's always something, it's some weird hidden file or some weird background setting or something like that that does it. And it's so frustrating because because like I say, there's no reason for it. So there we go. So now we've started. So we've gone from Happy New Year to complaining about loads of different things.
I have a reason to go through how much it cost. It's €76 on the store.
The game. Yeah, that's another thing. But okay, but
I did email Microsoft with this console, and that was a whole different work and all now. And I think they really need to make websites more accessible, because it was like a mess. I got the form to fill out, but different categories of issues, and under them categories, you had other subcategories.
Oh my god!
So it was like a bloody maze trying to see what my problem came under.
And yet then if you go on, I've been online trying to get help with things where you either talk to a chatbot or you talk to a person through a chat, and if you don't respond quick enough, they cut you off. They say like, well, since you haven't responded within this amount of time, clearly you've solved your problem, or clearly you don't need any help anymore, so I'm logging off the call, goodbye. So like, yeah, it's all, I mean, it's in their interest to make it difficult to get help from them.
Yeah.
But
that's amazing, because if you think about it, if any of us needed that and we couldn't answer quick enough, like that is a valid point. What are you supposed to do? How are you supposed to get help when that's the case? I think that's when EAA comes into play.
What's the EAA?
The European Accessible Act.
Okay.
They look over how to make products and services more accessible to people. So I was actually in a meeting before the break, and they were webinar about that. So yeah, I think when they get into when they get the ball rolling, I think all of that will be looked over.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll get a bit better. So.
Indeed. But it's that whole thing as well, that accessibility is for everybody. You know, I need things to be accessible, and it's very. I get very frustrated when it's not. You know,
and that seems really annoying because for me especially, when I'm typing, I'm not able to type that fast. And as well as that, I have spell issues. I'm not able to spell that good. So it takes a while to try to say what I want to say, and even if I can't, I try to put it in a different way that I can get across what I want to get across.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for me, that would be a super to.
And it's not something you hear about, is it? Because you hear about technology being accessible, you hear about new technologies allowing new kinds of communication or new ways of getting around or new ways of playing games or doing tasks, but you don't hear anything about troubleshooting, making troubleshooting easier, making problem, accessing support when these things go wrong. That's fascinating. I think there's like there's a piece of research in that. You could do a survey on that and get some interesting answers, I'm very sure. And
I know ChatGPT is an answer to everything, but ChatGPT could help with that, could give you a few ideas to troubleshoot, no? And they wouldn't fix it, but...
Do you know what? I have noticed lately that nearly every website I use for my work, and this or app, like if I'm using Acrobat for reading PDFs, or if I'm using research websites to find articles, they all have an AI assistant now, and some of them are not as good as the others. So some of them aren't as helpful as they could be, and some are very helpful, but you don't really need them because like I don't need an AI assistant. Well, actually, do you know what? Acrobat that has the PDFs has an AI assistant now that will summarize a document for you. And things like that are very handy. So that stuff is becoming more and more common. Just by the way, like ChatGPT is a specific website that you have to log into and then ask it for information. But companies are integrating AI into their own products more and more. And I'm not sure. Again, is it just an extra thing that causes hassle, or is it something that genuinely makes interacting with these things easier? We'll have to see, because AI gets it wrong sometimes. So dealing with an AI that gets it wrong would be just as difficult as dealing with a human who didn't care about your problem.
And I realized that a lot. Like I was on ChatGPT, and it actually 95% of the time it gets things right, but that 2% of the time it does get things wrong. I've noticed that, and rather than my parents thinking how, if it's a language model and if it's tracking information off the internet into your hands, how then is it actually getting things wrong? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I mean, so there we go. Like that, it's always a balancing act, and you always have to. It was kind of
Actually, that could be sorry, no,
it's okay.
I think that could be a handy thing, no. Leading into accessibility is AI. Because again, you have enough time with AI, and if that AI model is accurate and is set up in a specific way with specific information about what website if you wanted to get any help, that would be really handy because again you wouldn't need to, it wouldn't be a timeout limitation. You could take your time with it. So
I'm processing what you're saying because I'm thinking about like how you would do that. Is it like, okay, I'm going to come at this from another angle. While we were off, I was reading music therapy articles for my work, and I used AI to kind of bullet point the articles after I'd read them so that I wouldn't have to read them over and over again. I'd read it, then I'd get the AI to bullet point it so that I'd be able to check back quickly. And that made me think of like, if people who have high powered jobs in big companies, they have, or in, judges or solicitors or people like high up in kind of important jobs, they have assistants. They have people who will read a document for them and bullet point it for them. So because they're so busy and their jobs are so important, they don't have time to read stuff. So they pay an assistant to do this stuff for them. And this is something AI could be doing more, which is like, it's all about how you use it. So it is something that could make things a lot easier for people. And it is similar enough to something that already exists, that having an assistant, like people with dyslexia, in school can have readers, and that's all the way up to college. I knew someone who had a reader when he was doing his PhD, because he had difficulty reading. So someone was paid to read to him. He didn't write the essays, and then the reader would also write essays for him. Now they didn't. He would tell them what to write. So again, he was still doing all the work. It was still his mind that was directing things. So AI could do lots of those things. So it'd all be about, well, then you have to give the prompts to an AI to engage with an online system on your behalf. I bet a programmer could do something like that very quickly.
Yeah. But see, it's amazing because not everyone understands. Like, me and you understand that feeding in AI information on if I wanted to come up with a story. I got a story in mind, but I didn't know how to structure it. And I fed all the information into ChatGPT with him. You wouldn't come up with a story on its own from it. It would feed my ideas and it would actually write a draft for me. I don't think people understand this because a lot of people are speaking struggling with, oh, I'm interested in the AI. You do the whole thing. I'm feeding my information into ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And ChatGPT is assisting me with that.
Yeah, but that's because you're using ChatGPT ethically.
Yes.
You're using it as a support or because you could ask ChatGPT to write something for you, and then you might read it and go, well, that wasn't what I really wanted to say, and then you finish it off yourself. But people do use ChatGPT to write essays for college and school where they're not checking whether it's true or not, or whether it says what they wanted to say. They just want to not have to do the work. So that's an interesting thing. Val here says, I would have thought it would be their job to make life easier, not harder. I presume you're talking about people online and like support centers for products and software and things like that.
Look, at the end of the day, you might disagree with this. You might make a great details on this, but at the end of the day, it's all organizations like Microsoft and Sony. They're not going to care when a couple of people have complaints about taking money to actually build a product, to manufacture the product, to sell the product. They're not going to care about a couple of people with issues. Not every it's all about money. That's pretty much it. Money over people.
But then these systems are so complicated that, you know, the support staff only have a certain amount of time to chase down a solution. And then also like call centers and IT support, those are hard jobs. You're kind of fielding people's problems all day. I think that would wear you out after a while.
Although I have to say, I contacted the game company about their product. I know most of the complaints more of a suggestion. No Man's Sky is really good game. They've done a lot with it in the spring.
So No Man's Sky is a video game where you can fly through space and visit different planets, and it's never the same twice. No. It's always changing, and that's pretty much it, isn't it? It's not a lot of fighting or battles. It's more about
there is?
Yeah,
there's a lot of combat.
Okay, so
there's ground combat and space combat. Actually, funny enough, that's what I was onto them about. When it comes to the space combat, they have auto aim, so you can automatically aim at a chip and fire at the chip. It's the opposite when it comes to ground combat. They don't have any aim assist on the ground. So that's what I was contacting about. I was suggesting that they might actually keep in mind that not every player is the same, and there's a lot of the same players out there, like playing No Man's Sky, that can only play with one hand and might benefit from an auto lock or auto aim function on the ground. Hello Games is a small company, they're not a big company. They're not like Microsoft or Bethesda. I think it's Bethesda, something like that. But they're not a big company, a smaller company. But I emailed them about this, but again, there was no response at all to my suggestion. So, like, if I can understand if it's a big company that they won't be able to respond to every email out there, but if it's a tiny company, I mean, they would. No.
Yeah. And then I mean, part of me what wants to kind of argue in their defense, and I'm not going to do that because again. Yeah, you have a very good point there. We should probably get our guest in because because we started late. We're going to be coming into the end of the show soon. So that was a lot of very techie kind of gamey talk. We're gonna see if we can switch gears a little bit.
It was a lot of accessibility.
Yes.
Which I think is important for a lot of people.
And accessing online support is something we need for lots of reasons. That's a very good point. Okay, I'll be back in a second. If you can keep going, try not to rant too much. And I'll be back in a second with a guest.
Well, that's going to be difficult for me. That's like telling a dog not to howl in the room. It's impossible. So I hope everyone loved their day off. Their holidays. I absolutely loved it. There was a lot of snow down in Gabelle. So it was snowing like good though. And it was a lot of deep snow as well. So to be honest, I love to see the snow on Christmas. We didn't even think it would snow this Christmas, but it did. And that was good. So I don't know what it was like in the other parts of the country. I don't know what it was like in Dublin. If it was snowing in Dublin, but here it was, and it was lovely. To be honest, although, like I said, the roads were really deadly. They were like class, to be honest. So, you had to actually take it easy on the roads if you were driving. So, it's the only thing that was the problem. And the footpaths were like ice as well. So any wheelchair user would have to be really careful on the footpaths because the footpaths were so icy. So to be honest, I waited until the footpaths cleared up some bit because they were like class trying to go down to the village. So I don't know where our guest has gone to, or co-producer, what do they call somebody talks? Co-director? I'm pretty enough. Or co-presenter. Co-presenter. I don't know where our group. Oh man. There he is.
Oh, what did you need?
No, that's the way we're going.
You don't know where you're going. I said I was going to get a guess.
It took me nearly long.
Oh my god. Okay.
He's the boss.
Happy New Year, Ricky. It's nice to be back in content with you.
It is.
He's the boss. He's allowed to take his time.
I am not the boss. Oh, good.
That's not what I meant, Jess. I meant, I'll shut up. I said, I'll shut up. In that sense. I think I'll put that this way.
So I'm hearing a general thing, and I hope this doesn't sound cheeky, but I'm hearing a general thing that a lot of people last week got to sleep in a bit more.
Yeah.
And now we're all back getting up early again.
That's correct.
And we're all feeling it a little bit.
They're all funny enough. I didn't get into sleep the day before yesterday. And yesterday I was wrecked. But funny enough, when I went home, I managed to stay awake. So the night I slept like a baby.
I'm actually feeling it a lot more.
I had a good night's sleep, to be honest, last night. So my body clock is
reset.
Yeah, reset.
Yeah.
Good. Well, that makes one person in this building, including not. But anyway, okay.
Why are you still
I think just we're all sleeping in a bit longer last week, so getting up early is a bit harder.
Yeah.
But that's always like that coming back from a break, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah.
All right. So, Joanne, how are you?
I'm doing very well, and Happy New Year to everyone.
Very good. Now I'm going to ask you to speak up nice and loud there, just because the microphone's.
Okay. Is this loud enough?
You should really have mic as well. Because you do talk as well.
That's true.
So it's hard to hear you when your mic is near, I guess.
Yeah. That's true, but I like when I watch back these recordings, I like that I'm in the background, that being away from the mic means I'm not one of the main voices. So I'm a background voice. I like that. So I think it works for the show. But there we go. And Val says happy 2025, Joanne.
Happy 2025, yeah.
So very good. Okay, so let's catch up.
Okay.
Or let's look forward maybe. What's 2025 looking like for you?
Well, I have to admit that in 2024, I found myself being very negative and looking at, for me, situations weren't always positive. I look more at the negative side. Mm-hmm. So this year I'm going to change my mindset, and I'm going to look more positive at a situation. For example, I found that in the past I would give up on a lot of things before I'd even tried.
Okay.
And so this time I'm not going to give up. I'm going to let the situation, give up on me.
Interesting. So this is like a New Year's resolution then?
Absolutely.
Have you... we didn't even... do you know what? I would have loved to have seen in the chat if anyone has made New Year's resolutions and what they are, or if you made them before.
I have.
And what's your one?
Not let things get to as much. Not walk with, obviously with drive away when I let things get to me.
Interesting.
Sorry, what was that he said?
So not letting things get to you and not letting your feelings kind of get away from you in difficult situations.
Not letting people get to me.
So would that be similar to what I have made?
Well, I would say what's similar about both your resolutions is that they're both about changing your attitude.
Yeah.
Changing how you look at things.
And changing your mindset.
Yeah. Which isn't easy.
No,
So
it's not.
I don't think there's an attitude. I could be wrong, but I don't think there's an attitude.
Okay, sorry.
I could be wrong, but...
Then it's about being more aware of how you do things.
Yes.
Is that?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, great. I mean,
now, it might be hard, I might be saying that now, but down the line, knowing me, I could probably say, just...
Well, I mean, just to compare, do you want to hear what my New Year's resolution is?
Go on, tell us.
Let's read more books.
Oh!
That's it.
Read more books.
Read more books.
And what kind of books would you be into?
Doesn't matter. Any books, just read more. Watch list and make more music.
Well, what was I saying? Wisdom is knowledge. So,
what I would say?
Wisdom is knowledge.
Wisdom is knowledge, and knowledge is power, and power is
absolutely.
Money is evil.
What are you doing? Reading scriptures?
That was a bit of a stream of consciousness there. Where's Dean when we need him? He'd have thought that was very poetic.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're it's about having a more positive look at trying things out a bit more, sticking with them.
Exactly. Yeah.
And anything specific that you are going to try?
I recently signed up with the College of Further Education or I think it's the Further Education Department or whatever, but it's FED, and I am going to try. I actually registered for that creative writing course.
Excellent.
Because if you remember, I was doing a book.
Yeah.
I've actually changed it a little bit, because the bit that I previously, it's not the bit that I read for you the previous time. Mm-hmm. It's another part, going into the depth of the Titanic and how she was built.
Excellent. So just to remind people, because I don't think Ricky was here for that show, you've been researching and writing a book about the Titanic.
I have indeed.
And it's a mix of the history of the Titanic, but also there's a fictional story of a family aboard the Titanic.
Yes, there is, yeah.
I had to do the 40s we do makeup what's it called, history, something. We had to make up a fictional family. I wanted the Titanic. It's really good. I love doing it.
I don't think you were here, Ricky. I actually read it out on the show.
So it's a serious piece of work.
It is a serious piece of work, and it's still a work in progress because there's 21 chapters within the book.
And that's a great example of you sticking with something.
Yeah, there is actually, now I will be completely honest with you, there's 21 chapters in the book total, but there's 3 fictional.
Okay. So that even the format of the book is interesting.
Yes.
Because you don't often hear that.
Yes. Now, the first 2 chapters are the construction and the design of her. Mm-hmm. That's the first chapter. It's fairly long now, but it is the first chapter. And the second one then is the history and the significance.
Actually, why do they always say, when they always speak about a car or a vehicle, when they always say she, not he. Why is that?
I don't know, but they were always, ships for some reason are always known as she.
Yeah, it's really peculiar.
Where did that actually come from, Jason?
I have no idea. Fantastic question. We'll have to research that. And then in terms of like researching the book, are you interested in visiting any of the places?
Oh, absolutely.
There's a couple of Titanic museums.
There is indeed. I've actually made I haven't put it in paper yet. I haven't made it concrete yet, but I do have a plan to go and see the Titanic Museum in Cove.
That's it. I think you told me about that. And then there's also the shipyards, Harland and Wolff
in Belfast. Yeah. And actually, did you know that there's a guy, do you remember a guy named Thomas Andrews? He pretty much designed the ship. He was in charge of the Harland and Wolff's design department. And he was actually the managing director of the design department of Harland and Wolff. But the president of Harland and Wolff, Lord Perry, was actually Thomas Andrews' uncle.
Okay, so it was a family business.
Yes.
And was he the man who was on the boat himself?
No,
of the designers was
No, that was Thomas Andrews was, and Bruce Ismay.
I see. There we go.
Actually, can I ask you, if nowadays the most ships way bigger than Titanic, would they be able to manage iceberg if iceberg walloped into the side of the new ships? Would steam be able to manage it, or would it just crumble like the Titanic?
Well, are you talking about cruise ships, like passenger ships? My understanding is most of them would only travel in kind of good weather areas,
Okay, but what if anything did happen?
An impact of any kind?
Yes.
It's an excellent question. I don't know.
Yeah, we all sorry.
There was the Costa Concordia, do you remember that?
I do indeed.
There was a cruise ship.
Didn't it hit a rock or something?
Yeah, that were very tragic.
We all remember the sinking of the Titanic, even though it was back in 1912.
Over 100 years ago, yeah?
Yes, 112 to be honest. 113 in April.
Yeah.
So basically what happened was, there was, from research point of view, there was actually 2 reasons why she sank.
That's right. I'm going to pause it there because you have so much to say about it. I want to give you more time on a future show because it's 12 o'clock now and we need to start wrapping up. I just want to go to the chat
Okay.
Val says, good on both of you. Never let anything beat you. I think talking about your New Year's resolutions.
Exactly.
And then I think with regard to Titanic, Val says, Ricky, are you Jack?
Let's just say, I don't mean to be rude, but if he was, he'd be dead by now.
Or very old. We're just very, very
No disrespect, Ricky.
There we go. Okay. So we're going to wrap up there. Any do you want to say thanks and wrap up?
Thank you for coming and listening. We'll be back with Joanne maybe next week.
Yes, I will be here next week.
We'll hear more about the Titanic.
I will blow your head off.
but for now, I will say goodbye and adios. Thanks for joining the show.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Whoops.